What is good with you guys, man? This video is going to be a little bit different. We aren't even going to open up FL Studio, just straight up industry gems. Make sure to follow all the people in this video on Instagram, and then I'm on Instagram at TryFreeze if you want to go give me a follow as well. We're going to be doing some giveaways on there pretty soon, so yeah. Okay, first off, I want to talk about the industry versus the internet. You should not try to balance both in the beginning, in my humble opinion. This big civil war about, industry guys versus internet guys, which is better, which one you should focus on, which is more legit or whatever. They're both the same industry. The ultimate goal, in my opinion, is both, because they can both really complement each other. In my opinion, you need to focus on the internet side of things first, especially Reels on Instagram, because the algorithm is more in favor for producers and just content creators than ever before. And then once you get that following up, shift your focus a little bit more towards placements. Look at people like Max Shooter, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna be in this video as well. Some have succeeded going industry first, but today it's just objectively easier to start building your presence on social media before doing any of that stuff. You're gonna have a lot easier time sliding into DMs with a lot of followers. And then in the very end, feel free to bring the two together. You can still focus on one or the other, whichever one's bringing you more income, but people like Rio, people like Nick kind of bringing those two together to complement each other. Their placements and their credits help them get more credibility to sell their kits online, because people know they're buying sounds from real Grammy winning platinum producers, and then their sound kits end up on people's hard drives all over the place and they see their name everywhere. Just more opportunities. People are more familiar with them. All right, next tip here, man, we got J Cactus. He's been going absolutely crazy on YouTube. Just gonna ask him a few questions about his success and how you can replicate this.
Man, I think the secret to avoiding burnout is, first of all, actually looking after your health. So making sure that you're training, eating the right stuff, drinking a lot of water. You want to make sure that you're actually healthy enough to work the hours that you need to work. And then the other thing is just knowing when you need to take a break, when you need to switch things up. If you're not really feeling motivated and you've been working on the same stuff for a while, maybe it's time to switch up the environment. Collaborate with someone, go out, maybe cook up in a coffee shop, outside, wherever you can, or even just getting outside to take a walk, man. I feel like that really refreshes your mind. First type of content I'd post, a mix of long form videos and short form videos. I feel like short form is popping right now, but at the same time, still a place for long form videos, and you can repurpose them as well. Try and provide as much value as possible in a long form video for YouTube, and then I'd take either segments from that or create a condensed version for places like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram. And then the most important thing is to just be crazy consistent with it. If you're trying to sell kits online, the most important thing is to create content using those kits. Producers want to know that the sounds in those kits are actually usable. So if they know that you're using those sounds yourself and your beats are sounding fire, then they'll know that their beats can sound fire too. The other thing is to make sure that the sounds you're selling are actually unique, because there's nothing worse than buying a drum kit and then going through every sound to find that you've already got those in other kits. So experiment with sound design, man, or hiring musicians to play certain instruments. Anything you can think of to step outside the box and just make your kit unique, And for selling beats, obviously that's a completely different target audience compared to producers. So if you already have a tutorial channel where you're trying to sell kits to producers, then I'd recommend setting up a completely separate YouTube channel for targeting rappers, and that would be something like a type beat channel. I still think type beats are really important because that's what artists are actually searching on YouTube. That's how a lot of people are still finding beats. But the trick is you want to find a keyword or a search term that is being used a lot, meaning a lot of rappers are typing it in, but there's not a lot of competition, meaning that there's not a lot of other producers trying to do the same thing. So you can use tools like TubeBuddy and vidIQ to help you with that. That will give you an oversight for the past like 30 days or 12 months, depending on how you set it. And it will help you figure out what people are searching for versus how hard it's going to be for you to rank with those videos. Other than that, I'd say definitely look at setting up an email list. One of the most important things. I lost my Instagram account for a little bit, and that affected my business quite a bit. But at the same time, I have a huge email list. So if for whatever reason I'm shut down from these social media platforms, I can still reach out to my audience with offers or just keeping in touch by email. The best way to collect emails is to offer something for free. So for example, if you're targeting rappers and trying to sell type beats, just offer free downloads on your type beat channel. Maybe like free loop kits, smaller versions of drum kits. When you have those email addresses, then you can start retargeting those people with the paid version of the kits.
If you're going to be successful doing this stuff, you got to find a really good way to send out things efficiently and get good stats. This brings us to our sponsor, MUSZIO. No more clicking through folders to create packs, especially when producers and artists are asking for very specific vibes. For example, I need a melodic guitar loop for YoungBoy and one big dashboard instead of scattered out all throughout these different folders. Very, very similar to Dropbox, but it's optimized specifically for producers. Seriously, hear me out here. Let me show you this. So first off, I got some loops here, right? So we got a loop here. I'm going to drag it in, as you can see right here. Really fast upload. Here it is right here. And if you already have the BPM in the title, title, it auto detects the BPM right there. You can tag it. For example, I tagged it loop right here, trap right there, melodic, put baby keem, and then we got guitar right here. As you can see, here's our loop. Tag your loops just like this. Filter icon, we can search by 100 to 120 BPM. Right here. We can even sort by loop, trap. We got 2. And then what you can do here is select all of these right here. If you want to send them out in the pack, click on new pack. Let's say I was sending it to me. I'm going to do @tryfreeze, put in the date, just like that, create pack. If we copy the link, open it up, and this is the crazy part right here. So they can also filter, and they can see all the different moods here, and they can filter. So you can just really send somebody your entire catalog. You can play it. That wasn't actually my loop, that was Rick Anthony's loop. I just randomly have these uploaded here just as an example from earlier. Yeah, shout out to Rick Anthony, man. All of his loops are crazy. You want to download one just like that. All right, now here's the really good part. If I go back to my packs folder right here, I can see all the packs that I made. Here's the pack that I just recently made, and boom, you get stats on it. You can see 1 view, it got 2 plays, and it got 1 download. If you're sending out packs this way, you can tell how much engagement you're actually getting. This is also mobile friendly. You can pull it up on your phone during studio sessions, and there's a limited time offer where you can sign up right now for a 14-day free trial. I really recommend you guys try this out. Ultimately, it is at an affordable $9.99 a month, optimized for producers. So yeah, from here on out, I definitely am going to be sending out all my packs like this. I do that, by the way. If you want to get my packs, I send out multiple times regularly. DM me @tryfreeze on Instagram and we'll get you set up. I do charge a little bit of money for it. I will just go ahead and disclose that, but yeah. All right, next we got my man Kavi. Really good tips here. He has been going absolutely insane on YouTube and in the industry.
I'm Kavi, worked with artists like Future, SZA, 21 Savage, Lil TJ, also run a YouTube channel, a kit store.
I feel like this is a big question when it comes to smaller producers. How would you like to be approached by somebody looking for an opportunity?
One thing I would say is just like do your research. Like I don't make beats at all. I don't need anyone's loops.
Like collab loops, for example?
Really good way, at least to start working with me or other loop makers for sure. You can buy their kits, then flip their phrases or their vocals or whatever, and then send it back to them for collabs. I have too many opportunities. I physically cannot make stuff for all of them. So if I can just have some like hungry up and coming loop makers flipping a vocal from a loop I made a year ago into a new loop that I can send out for this opportunity, that's a super good way to work with people like me, bring value. Quick tip ways that you could do it. If you know how to video edit it, you could ask them if they need free video editing. Insist that they don't pay you, because then they're gonna feel kind of like indebted to you. Like, damn, I need to like do something because I feel guilty making him do all this work. You could do the same thing with graphic design.
Really good outlook on that, 100%. Second question here is also something that gets asked a lot. How many packs a week do you think that you need to send out to be successful with placements, like objectively doing well?
I don't send out like a normal loop maker does. I send out 1 loop every single day. I have like a Drake R&B list. I send them 1 Drake R&B loop every single day, like a title that's describing what the loop sounds like. And I have another list for like hard Memphis shit, any different kind of genre that you make. You could just send 1 weekly Dropbox link, but what happens if the day you send that producer you sent it to is like out with his friends that night, family emergency happened, like he just didn't see the email will never get seen. It's gonna get flooded. I show up every single day. Doesn't that sound annoying? Yes, it is annoying if you're ass. So
yeah,
if you're spamming fucking mid or ass loops, if Q Beats was sending you a starter every single day, that's not annoying, that's valuable. I try to hold my stuff to that level. That's the way I've been doing it for 3 years now.
That's really good reasoning. Yeah. The next question here, is selling beats still worth it?
Yeah. I think the days of just like posting your type beat on YouTube, like 1 a day, and then making bank are maybe not over, but right now it's not happening like it was. Everyone laughs at these people that post these like 90 beats for $39 or whatever. Those people are making 10 times whatever the fucking people laughing them are making.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, it's like, why are you worried about what producers think? You should be serving artists. Make it into like an offer that like is just too good to be true for the artist, and then run ads on that, scale it up from there. You're way more likely to make sales doing that than throwing a beat on YouTube and praying that it blows up.
Some really good points. If everything you had was taken except for the knowledge that you have now, what is the first thing that you do to rebuild it?
Reels, shorts, TikToks. Every day I'd be posting more than once a day. That's the easiest way to get like a decent amount of people into your brand. Longer term, starting a YouTube channel and building your brand is a better move than short form content. Your first year, you're going to be getting like less than 1,000 views per video probably. So while you're building your YouTube channel, I would just focus on short form content. I'd be running many chat automations on Instagram. I would post, you know, like POV, Drake needs a hit or whatever. And it's just like a Drake type loop or Drake type beat that I made. And it's like comment and I'll send you this loop. And then it sends them to a landing page where they have to put their email in, collecting their emails on your email list, then email them their free loop. And then I'd be email marketing to them. On my email list, 20,000 people on my email list to sell samples to. I made $20,000 that month off my email list. I would just keep building that shit up. Play the long game.
Really solid advice, man. all of it. Before we wrap it up, is there anything you wanted to shout out? Any products you got coming along?
Yeah, my Instagram is prodkxvi. I'm dropping Elements of Trap soon, which is a huge trap bundle with like a bunch of live instrument phrases, vocals, and all that stuff.
Appreciate you for joining me.
Good talking to you, bro.
The next tip here is how to lock in, how to actually lock in with these producers. Placements have never been something I've really focused on, but I will say I have built a lot of valuable connections, and these are some of the methods that I use to do that. Genius.com. Whatever artist you want to get a placement with, click on all songs, right? Open all of these up right here, all the way down to the bottom. Credits right here, boom. Sheldon, June the Genius, produced by Louis Bands and 𝕃𝕄𝔸𝕆. All right, what you're gonna do, find these guys' Instagram right there at the very bottom. Try to find somebody who's closer to your follow count. If you got 5,000 followers, try to find somebody else around anybody under 10K followers. But just keep on clicking through these guys until you find somebody approachable. A couple other methods I use are just going through people's following. I'm gonna use Mac for this, and then try to find people who are, you know, within your follow count range, cold DM them. And then we also got tags, right? Click on the little tag button right here. You can see everybody who worked on that track. This guy, shout out to Ty, this guy right here. Shout out to all these people, man. Another thing you can do, you can actually throw people a little bit of cash, right? If you're confident in your work, $50, try to lock in. Anybody who's posting on their story like $200 collabs, right? Run, do not pay them anything. They're just looking for quick cash, honestly. Generally, if they got a good trusted reputation in the community, you know, you can DM them, but learn to pick which people you actually work with on a paid basis. Sometimes it definitely is worth it. So for the next tip here, we're gonna bring on Max Shooter, and yeah, we're just gonna go over some certain questions that tend to be regularly asked.
Yo, what's good, man? It's Max Shooter 49.
So first off, what do you look for when you're looking for somebody to lock in with?
This is super like subtle, but one thing that I want to look for is I want to see your consistency when it comes to music. At least trying to get better at what you're doing, and you're just not waiting for stuff to happen. I want to see you hustling. I want to see you grinding. I don't want to like work with somebody who's just trying to not put the same work in as I am putting in. Through that, you'll definitely be able to lock in with me and anybody else you really want to, because you're not going to stop until you get to that point.
Exactly. Some fair points, man. 100%. Are there any lesser known VSTs that you could not live without?
I'll be trying to put people onto this cool VST called Autochroma. It's a slept-on portal. It's like way better granulizer effect plugin that I use a lot to flip my samples in case I want to have different arrangements or just even turn it into a texture. Second one would just be Cymatics Lotus. Emulates the real 𝕃𝕄𝔸𝕆 pedal to where it's like you damn near get the same thing. And I wouldn't be giving this out if it wasn't actually good. Like I use this in my kits. Those two are definitely gonna give you so much sauce.
Absolutely, bro. Last one here is, like I said, man, what's the best kind of kit to sell as a producer right now? Because there are lots of producers still doing stuff like loop kits and old kind of drum kit. Like, what's the best thing to focus on right now?
If I were to start, you know, nowadays what a lot of producers are doing are just focusing more on one kit, you know what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't really do like a loop kit anymore by itself or a drum kit. How I gained followers was doing something similar to a loop kit. It would be more than just loops in it, you know? So a multi-kit is what would be probably the best in the market right now.
What would you really put in a multi-kit?
I would definitely look for something that a lot of producers use. Some analog lab presets. People like to start using textures and one-shots and shit like that. Do more vocals. People need to start doing more with their voice and violins and piano and anything they could get their hands on, bro. Like presets that people actually have for VSTs. A lot of people have analog lab. You know, a lot of people have Portal. Don't follow a rule when it comes to making kits just to get some extra bread. Anything you put in there will help you grow no matter what. So it's like, put a lot of shit in there, bro, for real.
Especially if you played an instrument, like a unique instrument, you're gonna have a lot of advantage there, right?
Oh, 1,000,000%.
If you can play violin, man, you can record violin, or if you got a good voice, especially vocals.
Yeah, facts.
Cool, man. Is there anything you want to shout out? Are there any final things you want to share with the community, man?
Even though there can be a lot of quote-unquote rules to this music stuff, just don't forget to just keep making music and keep expanding, getting sounds, watching videos, keeping up with tutorials, email lists, reading and studying. It's just like literally anything you want to perfect at, you just got to keep doing it. So follow me on my socials, MaxShooter49 everywhere. Thank you, man, for having me on.
Appreciate you for coming on. We got Synthetic on, and he's got really, really good advice for staying consistent, really powering through that beginning stages. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Synthetic. I'm a music producer based off in LA. Work with artists like 𝕃𝕄𝔸𝕆, Lil Uzi Vert, Kyle Rich, Nav, Ice Spice. When I was in grad school, so at that time I had like literally from 8 a.m. to sometimes 8 p.m. and then I would go to work part-time for like 4 or 5 hours after that. So my whole day would be busy, and then I'd come home like 1 a.m. 2 a.m. sometimes, and then I'd cook up for like 3-4 hours. It was a crazy schedule in the very beginning, and I think a lot of people usually in the beginning have schedules like that. And what kept me productive was really just like my desire to create. I really enjoyed making music or creating music. And then I graduated school like around 2020 where I just said, you know, I'm gonna take a year off, try this music thing out. I had to save some money up. I just went all in, and that's when I was really locking in, like no social life. Like I was even barely going out. So it just depends on your circumstance, but you motivate yourself to stay productive. For me, it was just like the desire to create. I have this tendency to just get addicted to things, and in this case I got addicted to this music production. I can give you an example. When I first started producing, there was drive and motivation to do it, but there was times where I just wanted to give up because I just, you know, I'd be trying to make a beat for like 3 hours and nothing was happening. I was like, you know, fuck this. What kept me going was that drive to like, no, I want to do this. I pushed myself to do it. I'm gonna make sure it goes my way, and I'm gonna make sure that I make something happen. What made it enjoyable was just like working on stuff that I really like find beats or like styles of beats that I really enjoyed making, and I would just try to make those. Find like ways to keep yourself motivated. Many goals, like I want to make a beat like Travis Scott, and then you get there and you make one that sounds kind of like it, and you're like, okay, like you're for it, like I did this, you get me? Started, I was making beats, but I realized I wasn't really that great at it, and I felt like I was a lot better at making melody. So at that time I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to make melodies. So I was making like 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day, and then I started getting the hang of it. I was like, okay, I'm making 5 a day, and then now I'm like, okay, I have like 30 melodies on my drive. What do I do with them? So I quickly realized that I was like, I need to figure out a way to like send these out. Found out that a lot of people were like uploading like free loop kits on YouTube. So I was like, okay, if I can drop a free loop kit on YouTube every week. Nowadays it's not necessarily how much you do, it's just how well you distribute your work. But you don't have to make like 100 loops a week or something like that to like be like that. But I will say in the beginning, it is very important to make a lot of products so that you can get better. Make a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of stuff, and eventually once you're like getting more comfortable, more confident with your work, at that point you don't have to make so much. You just have to perfect your craft. Importance of working with artists that are just coming up. I feel like that's something I really didn't understand. Like I feel like when I first started producing, like I really wanted to send my work to someone who was working on stuff for like Travis Scott or like Uzi or like Cardi, like those big artists, you know, those people, the artists that a lot of people, you know, dream of working with. I had a lot of success not because I reached for a song with Uzi, but because I unintentionally had a song come out with Yeet, and at that time Yeet had like 15,000 followers. You know, he was a small artist. At that time I was like, yo, he's hard. But what I was really doing was I was working with a new artist that was on the verge of breaking out, and that allowed me to align myself with their success. If I knew that earlier, I feel like I would have been a little bit more ahead, focused on like this emerging talent, and like tapped in a lot earlier. 1, 2, 3 years come in, boom, they're like mainstream, you get me? Take time, you know, you're gonna be in this for a couple years. Some of them may not ever do anything, but you have to take that risk. Like don't be afraid to take a risk with an artist, especially if it's one that you're passionate about and that you really believe in. You know, you gotta plant seeds, support them. You are consistent with supporting and setting beats or whatever, melodies. Stream 2093, you know, I produced 8 tracks on there. I have a new drum kit based off the album, the Yeet album 2093. It's called Kerosene. I'll send the kit to Try Freeze and probably give some free copies out. Keep working, guys. It's like, it's a grind always, but if you love it, you just, you know, keep going forward. I hope you guys learned a little something. You know, if y'all ever have some questions, you know, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I tend to reply to a lot of people. Never be hesitant.
So yeah, if you got something from this video, please let me know in the comments. I'm also doing a kit giveaway, 3 all kit bundles that includes all these kits right here. All you gotta do to win is just like and comment, and yeah, I'll pick a random winner in a couple of days. So next time.